Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel. And on this channel we talk a lot about how to create comics, and I'm sharing everything I learned after creating comics for more than 6 years. But we also talk a lot about art overall, how to create art, how to enjoy art, what to do if you're for some reason having struggles with your art, and how to make money with your art and how to be a professional artist. If any of this is interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe and ring a bell. It will notify you when the new video comes out, and it also will help my little channel grow. So it will help you and it will help me. It's a perfect world. In this video I wanted to talk to you about inspiration and why inspiration is not something that you should aspire for, and inspiration is not finishing a project, and why you shouldn't follow the inspiration. I mentioned on this channel multiple times that I have some serious problem with some very big concepts in art industry, art field, that is talent and inspiration. I personally don't like either, just because there's so much emphasis put on them, more emphasis than necessary, abnormal amount of emphasis. You have the idea of talent presented of some miracle, and some people are just so gifted and they're just able to do all this art, and all the artists that make it are talented and it's presented as some magical ingredient, and to me it's just equivalent to the person working hard when nobody's watching. For inspiration, there's also this thing like everything that is important and this is beautiful and great artwork made with inspiration. And the main question I always ask about my comic is like, what inspired you to create your comic? Was the inspiration behind this thing? And also inspiration is almost presented like this magical thing that comes out of nowhere and just grace you with the idea, and that's not that. Inspiration is just, it's not that important, you guys. Inspiration is not something that helped me draw almost 300 pages. Inspiration is not something that kept me working on my comic for more than 6 years. It's not something that helped me write a novel. It's not something that I use in my work day at all, even if we have like a concept art work where people really come to us and say, give us as many ideas as you possibly can of how a certain thing can look like. We're not relying on inspiration at all. Let's first break down what I think inspiration is, and then I will talk about for what I actually think is useful and what people sometimes call inspiration, but what it's not. I keep finding that inspiration is this initial spark when you actually see something, hear something, get to know about something, and you just have this idea, or you just have this thought, like a little first spark of something. Like you just feel like, what about I do this with that? Or, oh, they're struggling with this. How about we introduce this solution to help people with it? So it's just this initial spark, initial idea, just literally small initial idea. And that's it. It might stick, it might not stick. Most of the time, it doesn't stick. Most of the time, how it goes, you think about, oh my god, this music really makes me, like, inspires me to draw this thing, but I'm too busy. I'll just watch this TV show on Netflix or something like this. How often did it happen to you? Probably a lot. So inspiration on its own is just this little hinge. And what people call inspiration sometimes, what I think is not inspiration, is when people say, I just got this idea and I just started working on it and I just kept working. Or for example, I was struggling with this chapter, this writing or this drawing, and then I just sat and it just all started coming out of you. I just was working and it was great, and I was riding the wave of inspiration. I don't think that is inspiration. What I think this is just being in the flow, and I will talk about that thing, how to get into this thing. As you can see, the inspiration itself is like this spark. It's not it. You do not need it to finish project, and some people just feel like, I feel uninspired and I don't know, I don't want to really continue on this. I actually made a video about what to do if you like not feeling inspired, and I'm more assuming you are just feeling not interested in drawing, you don't have energy, you don't enjoy it currently. So that's that, and I have a video of how to help you get out of that situation, which sucks. So I've been there. So being like in a bad mood and not vibing with art, it's not meaning not having inspiration. It's just there's some problems going on. Something is up. You definitely can still create art without inspiration. Every time I go draw my comic, I don't feel inspired to draw my comic. I just feel relaxed. And if I were inspired every time, I would just be emotionally drained. So another thing that I always have a lot of my friends saying, oh, I have this idea for this project. I was so excited, but then I never finished. It might be something is wrong with me. I don't know, Christina, you when you have ideas, you just go with them and you work on them, and I just have them. Maybe I don't have discipline. And I explained that I just don't follow passion. If I have the idea, I keep thinking, okay, what I want to do with this? what the goal that I want to have with this, what's the plan that I want to have. It does it serve my overall artistic career goal? If it does, then it comes from inspiration, passion category to just motivation category. And then, for example, this is how I feel about my comic. I'm really motivated to do it because it's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy the process. I don't enjoy the result. I mean, I enjoy the result, but to me the process is what's important. Creating it, having the challenge of the next chapter, having the challenge of drawing the next page. And this is what keeps me going. And every time I draw, I just in this relaxed zone. And every time I finish, you know, some page or realize some plot situation, I feel just satisfied. So I'm enjoying the process, and overall I'm motivated to create these chapters out. I'm motivated to be a person who has this comic under their belt and be the one who was able to write the story, share the story, create something. So that's what motivates me, and it's not inspiration, it's just motivation, a goal, a set idea. And for example, if I'm inspired for some drawing, or for example, I see something and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to draw this landscape. I feel like inspired to draw this landscape. Sometimes I think, well, do I have time to draw this landscape? What purpose does it serve? What I can do with this? Gonna just draw it and post it online? And I'm gonna draw it at the expense of not drawing my comic? Or for example, I can merge and use this inspiration that I have for this particular landscape and use it and draw it for my comic for certain chapter and use it in my chapter. And then I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, keep talking. And then I will be interested to actually implement it because now it's linked to my goal, to my motivation, and I know what to do. It has place in my life and my future. I don't know if it makes sense. So basically, motivation is something that you need to follow to be successful at finishing what you're starting. And another thing that kind of mentioned when people say that the muse came and they were inspired to write everything, or they were inspired to draw something and it just came to them. I don't think that's inspiration. I think it's the state of flow. It's a state where you're really in good balance with your own ideas. It's amazing when it happens, and it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't have to happen all the time. But where it happens, it's something that you definitely can achieve. It's, I think, a perfect balance of you thinking about your creative art, but also letting a space for new ideas to come. So you're in this perfect state of being able to approach it logically. For example, if I'm writing my chapter, I will be thinking, well, if idea comes, I will be able, like, my mind is still pretty active and ready to think how to implement this idea into the plot, into dialogue and everything. But at the same time, part of my brain is open. And if I'm writing it, I'm just like, well, I'm planning to do this now with this next paragraph or with this next page. But if new ideas started flowing and I'm able to weave them in right away as they go, I don't mind. So to me, it's like this magical moment of being open enough, but being logical enough and like pushing your brain to think. So that's, to me, is this state when everything just comes together. And usually also something comes together, it just means you've been thinking about it for a long time, or you've been doing some creative process like this for a long time, and this finally clicked because you did all this homework before and you didn't even realize it. This is what I mean it is. And when I'm actually drawing my comic, when I'm actually drawing my page, the feeling that I'm having is not crazy inspired and crazy excited about my work. It's not just feeling, you know, oh my god, I love it so much and I'm so inspired and it's gonna be so great, the story is gonna be so amazing. That's not the feeling. The feeling that I get is just something that you get almost when you meditate. You're just relaxed and you're at peace and you just relax. It's just almost you're like meditating. It's just your mind can be rolling somewhere and your hands are doing something. It's just almost the same feeling. I know some people get it when they wash dishes. Some people get it when they're running in the morning. Some people get it when they just drive in a car and just see other cars passing by and just enjoying the scenery, or come outside and there's a beautiful sunset, or you're just enjoying your morning cup of coffee. That type of feeling that I get, just feeling of being completely relaxed, completely enjoying the present moment and just not having any extra crazy emotions, just being relaxed. And usually when I'm drawing, I'm usually listening to audiobook or to YouTube videos, sometimes to the music, but mostly to something like information. So I'm also in the state of like absorbing new information, learning something, my brain doing its own activity on its own, and my hands are working. I don't know, it's like this very relaxing feeling. So no inspiration is involved. The feeling of like inspiration that I got, it was like recently I had it maybe a couple weeks ago, first time in a long time, maybe not 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. It was during inauguration, USA inauguration. I was watching it, and there was American anthem that was being sang, and I kept thinking, well, American anthem, I'm sorry, no offense, but it always so forgettable. Like, I don't know, I hear it and then I'm like, forget it. I forgot it completely. And then I hear it again and I immediately forget it right away. So, and I started thinking about anthem of the country. I listened to Canadian anthem, which I really, really like actually. And then I decided to listen to Russian anthem again, which I know because I'm Russian. And I actually absolutely love it. It sounds amazing, but at the same time, it doesn't match reality, like what they're singing. It does invoke those feelings of pride for your motherland, except whatever they're saying it doesn't match reality. So it's weird. So I had this inspiration of just drawing the way I see Russian culture overall, what I see, how basically the Russian culture evolved throughout times and where Russia is like at now, kind of explaining how I feel about the country I was born into and how I'm really mesmerized with all the culture that came before and how I'm really disappointed to what happened to it. So I was like, oh my god, I'm so inspired to do this. But then I actually thought of actually drawing this and then actually doing this, and I was like, well, this is approximately how much you're gonna spend on it, like doing it, then it's gonna be finished, and what I'm gonna do, post it once. It's not gonna contribute really to my career, like drawing career, because it's not something that I want to keep drawing on a daily basis. So it's like I will be like this odd piece on my resume that I draw something Russia related once and I never want to do it again. I said what I could. So I was like, yeah, I don't think it fits in whatever I want to do with my drawing, so I never did it. So I find inspiration pretty useless. Sometimes it's good, but most of the time I only use maybe 20% of inspired ideas that I have. So if you're really hung up of the idea of inspiration and you really think that you need inspiration to start doing something, don't. I work in art industry professionally. We create movies, we create a lot of cool movies, and if I had to have an inspiration every time I create something for this movie, I would be in big trouble. Honestly, movie will never come together in like logical way that it is. You have to have logic, structure, and motivation, and understanding the bigger plan, or enjoy the process right now. So I hope my Renty video about inspiration can be helpful for you, and if inspiration is something that you're constantly thinking about and worrying that you might not have it, don't. You don't really need it to finish anything. You don't need it to create art. It's overrated. Don't worry. Just use motivation, interest, just enjoyment of the process, and run with it, and you're gonna create amazing art, and inspiration is just not necessary. So I hope this video was interesting for you, and thank you so much guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you guys for watching.